Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Spotlight on Business Analysis session, which is part of Learning at Work Week. So my name is Stacey Harris, and I'm a Capability Management Lead here at DVLA. I will be facilitating today's session for you. Today, we are joined by ITS Capability and Talent Lead, Craig James, and Head of Business Analysis, Gary Young. We've also got some of Gary's team of business analysts, Dave, Jody, Nikki, Geraint, Rich, and Naomi. So thank you all for joining us today. This event explores the role of the business analyst here at DVLA and how they provide a critical function in the development of new IT projects. If you've got any questions you'd like to ask our presenters, please pop them in the Q&A and we'll dedicate some time at the end of the session then to get them answered for you. So kicking it all off will be Craig, who's going to tell us about how the Centre of Digital Excellence supports new and emerging IT talent at DVLA. Over to you, Craig.
That's great. Thank you, Stacey. So my name is Craig James. I run the Capability and Talent team for DVLA's IT department. So I just wanted to talk literally for a couple of minutes just about how we're creating our talent pipeline for digital roles and how this forms part of our ambition to become a centre of digital excellence for IT. So we take an approach of sort of 3 phases, and this is around inspiring. So trying to highlight digital roles that exist, sort of sharing information so people know what digital roles are out there and what careers might be available for them. Look to attract talent. So we hope that people on this call might see what we've got to talk about today and be interested in the roles that we've got available. But then for us, it's about growing that talent. So business analysis and what we're going to talk about today is just the start of an IT career. It's not just a single role. It's about developing that career then and building a full, fulfilling IT career for the future. So if we could just have the next slide, please. So as part of our Centre of Digital Excellence, we've brought in 87 individuals since we started back in 2018, and we've run a number of different programs that look for people leaving schools, colleges and university, but also looking at those that want a changing career. So whatever academic level you reached, we try and develop programs that reach out to everybody. So when it's time for you to look to change into an IT career, that there's something available for you. We look across a number of different modern digital skills. Business analysis we're going to talk about today. We've got another program we'll be talking about tomorrow around software development engineering test, and we look across a number of different digital careers and capabilities. And I think the most important thing and the last thing I wanted to talk about for us is around finding the right partner for delivering these programs with us. So we work with universities, we work with colleges and schools, but we also look at professional qualifications. So the programs we build are designed to be skills that are not only needed in DVLA, but they're needed across the sector. So what you're going to hear about today is the next exciting instalment for our Centre of Digital Excellence, and I'll hand over to Gary, who will talk you through what our business analysis development program is going to look like. So thank you all.
Thanks, Craig. Afternoon, everybody. So let's start with having a bit of a look about what business analyst does. So in terms of the context of DVLA, we've got quite a few business analysts, and what they do, they work with stakeholders to basically remove ambiguity and create a common understanding of what the problem is. So they do that by asking great questions and trying to understand what the person is trying to achieve, what the outcome they're trying to get to. So there's a bit of a graphic alongside there then that shows a business analyst and some of the individuals that they'll be liaising with. So we've got software developers that they have a really strong connection with. They talk to people who test software. They talk to people who have responsibility for sponsoring the change. They'll talk to people like project managers, people who've got responsibility for delivering the whole of the change, technical and business. And they'll also speak to the people who really get affected by the change that we're looking at. How do we make an improvement to the system or the service? How do we deliver value that's going to really make an impact to our end customer? And also in terms of DVLA, they talk to other stakeholders. So we've got a wide range of stakeholders, some of those individual customers, drivers, owners of vehicles like you and I, and others like corporate entities then, such as motor manufacturers and motor dealers, people who build these things that we liaise with on a much larger basis. So the business analyst in the context here is at the center of all those conversations, asking questions of what you're trying to achieve, what is it you need from us, and how can we actually improve the service that we deliver to our customers. So that's what a business analyst does in terms of the context of DVLA. What we found is that it's been a great experience to develop our own DVLA business analysts. And a couple of years ago, we put in place a program that is basically an apprenticeship that looks at how we take somebody at an entry point to the profession and we build them up over a period through a structured program. So in terms of the program that we have in place, it runs for 24 months and it's split into 5 structured modules. Each of those has got a particular focus that they'll take you through: an introduction to DVLA, introductions to what the role is, and also take you on the first part of your journey through the study that we put all our business analysts through. So there are exams, there are qualifications that you achieve through this, and those are industry recognized. They're not just things that live within DVLA or within government. They are exams that are set by outside industry, and that then hopefully shows that the analysts that we've got within DVLA are amongst the best in the country. And the other thing that we are able to do through this is to actually give you hands-on experience of using those skills and those tools and techniques that you learn. So you'll get practical experience of the things that you've learned on the courses. So if you want to summarize some of these things, basically we're giving you the opportunity to earn while you learn. We're sponsoring £10,000 worth of training that gives you a really good insight into what this means for a business analyst working in the digital industry. It gives you priceless amount of practice. Very often you'll see that some training organizations give you the opportunity to go in and do a number of training courses within a very short time. That'll give you part of it, but what it won't give you is the real practical experience of going out there and trying these things in a supportive environment that shows you how they can be used to the best of effect. The other thing is business analysis. It's a profession. This is something that is growing within the industry, and it's really valued within digital, within government, and also within the wider IT sector in terms of a role that is in high demand. And as a capability within DVLA, it's got a career path. It's a clear point of entry in terms of how do you come into this. And it's also well set out in terms of how you progress, what's needed, the expectations in terms of qualifications and experience, and what you would need to do to be able to evidence those, to be able to be considered to be progressed to the next level in your career. So if we think then about who are the sort of people that we're looking for. So we found that the people that fit best into this role are people who have an interest in IT, and usually they're really good at paying attention to detail. These are people who are really interested and are really calm under pressure. They're quite organized, and they're really good at managing their own time and sometimes managing the time of others. What we've also recognized is that people who are really commit to their own development do really well in this role. We really like people who are professionally curious, people who go out there and just say, I want to know what more I can find out about this. People do their own research, people who are interested in what's happening next, not just within digital, but within the role of a business analyst. And amongst everything else, we've got people here who really enjoy working with others and being part of a team. Within DVLA, we've got a great BA capability and a great DVLA community where people are really supportive of each other, help each other, and find solutions together. So once you've got all those things, what do we offer as part of the DVLA digital offering? So industry recognized qualifications. You're working in a professional area and you're being paid a salary while you learn. You're able to balance those things between studying and work-based learning, so that, as I said, you're finding out things through training courses, structured training courses, and you'll be able to bring those back into your work-based environment and try them out. You're working in agile digital delivery. So not just agile digital delivery, but it's at scale. So DVLA has got a wide reach. We impact positively multi-million in terms of drivers and vehicles. The things that we do make a difference, and this is your chance to actually come in and be part of that organisation that is changing how digital motoring looks like. And as part of all that, you also get a mentor who actually helps you oversee and take you through your learning and development process throughout the course. And it's not just a mentor who will see you through this, but as I said, it's a capability that supports you through all your training and development journey. So the model that we use for our training within the civil service and within DVLA is a model called 70-20-10. So of this, you can broadly split the learning of 10%, which is formal. That's structured training courses, classroom training courses, where it's a face-to-face delivery, or recently because of COVID, it's been more online. But it's formal, structured training. It's got clear objectives and clear outcomes. And through that, you'll go through training courses that also allow you then to take examinations to prove and certify the way that you're able to evidence internally and externally your progress through the profession. 20% of your learning will also be social. That's where you'll benefit from interacting with colleagues and mentors through capabilities and through communities that we've got internally and also externally in government. Talking with other business analysts, swapping ideas, looking at best practice, and actually asking with them, how would you do this? So that's a really valuable way of learning. And then the bulk of it is experiential, taking the stuff that you learned, trying it out in a safe environment. You've got support from your mentor and your capability there. You've got daily tasks. You'll work through those. You'll find your best way through it, and you'll also work out your own customer practice in terms of what works well for you, trying things out and seeing how you can improve on those things as you go through your journey. So I mentioned in terms of examinations and qualifications, so the pathway that we take is through the British Computer Society, and we put all our business analysts through the International Diploma in Business Analysis. So to be going through that, there are 4 modules that we put you through. Each of those has formal training. Each of those has an examination against it. It's challenging. That's what you'd expect it to be because it's got a value to it. The modules that we put you through are on the screen. And if you're interested, you can go off to the BCS website, have a look at the website. And also there are example papers there and give you a bit more idea about the syllabus for each one of those exams will cover. So 4 individual exams there and a final oral examination that brings all those things together by external examiners who are looking at your professional capability and are looking to certify you as being somebody who is worthy of having the international diploma. That's a really tough challenge. It's worth it though. It's a lot of investment of time and effort, but it just shows that that's the value that the DVLA has got in the capability, and it also shows the progress and the professionalism of those within the capability. So I think that's it from me in terms of covering that. That's a quick overview of what the role is and what the program looks like. So I think that takes us back to Stacey.
Thanks, Gary. Now then, I actually have some questions for our panel of business analysts, but before I kick off with those, I'd like to invite the BAs to introduce themselves. So let's start with Dave. Go for it, Dave.
Thanks, Stace. So I'm Dave Rose. I'm the lead business analyst for our driving license domain, as well as our customer and identity products. I've been a business analyst for over 15 years now. It's quite a long time, and prior to that I was a developer, or a programmer as we used to be called, and I was going to say something else and I've forgotten now, so I think that's enough information on me.
That's fine, thanks Dave. Hey, get your camera on next time. I want everyone to see your beautiful face.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I will.
Don't worry, I'm sure you'll have an opportunity later. Jodie, how about you?
Yep. Hi, I'm Jodie Lewis. I've been a business analyst for just over 2 years now in the DVLA. I've currently been working on the identity and user account projects, which is soon to be customer account. So I work very closely with Dave and also the next BA who's going to speak, which is, I believe, Geraint.
Hi all, I'm Geraint and I've been working in the DVLA for nearly 10 years. Most of that time has been in the operational and support roles before I joined the 2-year BA development program in September 19. I'm currently, as Geordie and Dave mentioned, I'm working on the identity project with them, and I also look after the DVLA contact page on gov.uk, so I work with a team on developing those.
Great, thanks Geraint. Nikki, how about you?
Hiya, I'm Nikki. I've been on the Business Analysis Development Programme since September 2019. I currently work on mainly driver services and some of the vehicles ones as well. Previous to this role, I was in university and I have a degree in fashion design and I worked in retail.
Thanks, Nikki. And Naomi? You there, Naomi?
Hiya, sorry. Yes, so I'm Naomi Cassells. I'm one of the lead business analysts at DVLA, and I currently cover the payments and inquiries area. Before that, I used to be a systems developer a while ago, but I moved to DVLA about 5 years ago.
Lovely, thanks guys, thanks, really appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to plough straight on with my question. So my first question, I think I'm going to aim at Dave. So from my experience, when someone with little knowledge of IT roles hears the job title of business analyst, they don't automatically associate it with the tech world because it sounds more business focused than IT focused. Can you tell us a little bit about the role of the business analyst? So why do they do what they do and why do they sit in the IT department?
Hello, can you see me now? Okay, so the reason they sit within the IT department is it's not nearly out of necessity. The role kind of straddles the IT department and the business. The role kind of was born out of a problem within IT solutions. So a lot of IT solutions were being created and developed and deployed. They weren't particularly fit for purpose, or they were what was being delivered wasn't what the customer wanted, and they an investigation was put into that, and it turned out that the requirements weren't actually being correctly captured. The business or customer needs weren't being captured and articulated to the people developing. So there was a lack of communication between what the customer wanted and what the actual IT solution was being developed, how it was being developed. So the business analyst role was to plug that gap. So it really is, as Gary showed on his diagram, you're sitting in the middle really of all of these stakeholders. Some of them are customers or users of the system, or they are the actual internal stakeholders within an organization. And essentially you're like a translator. You're translating all of that information that that people are giving you and turning it into a language that the recipients can understand. So yes, you need to be able to, obviously we all talk English at DVLA, but you need to be able to talk in the language of the person. So from a business perspective, you need to, you understand the business and you understand the terms and that they're talking about. And from an IT perspective, okay, you don't need to know how to write the code, but you probably need to be able to talk in the language of technology that they talk about. So you're kind of that translator in the middle of that.
Great, thank you, Dave. So my next question is what does a typical day look like for a business analyst at DVLA? So if I go to a few of you here, because you've probably got different experiences, I'll start with Jodie.
Yeah, so for me, there isn't a standard day as such. You're always juggling lots of things at once, and that does make every day feel different. But what will always be constant is that you will always be talking to lots of people. From a business perspective, you'll be speaking to those who have problems to solve or a gap to close. And you'll always be asking lots of questions to figure out how you can help solve that problem or close the gap. And from a tech perspective, working with architects, developers and testers to ensure the solution meets the requirements that we've had from the business. So the days are very varied, but be sure to know you will always be doing lots of talking.
Great, thanks, Jodie. Nikki, what about you?
Yeah, I have to agree with Jodie. It is much like that. You will be talking to people pretty much all day long. So for me, I log on, I check my emails, I'll check my calendar to see what I got on for the day. The one thing that's the same for me every day is I do attend a daily stand-up with the squads that I'm working with. So with the developers and testers on there. And then every day from there then can be different. So I'll be attending meetings. I could be running a workshop with stakeholders to gather requirements or writing user stories. And then there's probably a few spontaneous calls chucked in there as well when you're needing to answer a query quite quickly. So yeah, a lot of time speaking to people, but yeah, it's really good.
Great, thanks, Nikki. And Geraint, how about you?
Yeah, I think like the other two have said, there's always that sort of said, no 2 days the same, but they're really not. I think, the vast change of meetings we have throughout the day, varies quite a lot. So I think for myself, normal day would be sort of look at the to-do list. I usually make a to-do list the day before to sort of see what I've got, and check what prep I've got for meetings or workshops. You're writing user stories for the squad from any requirements that a product owner has given. And as Nikki said, being aligned with squad, we have a stand up in the morning where we'll sort of discuss how the stories they're working on and how they're progressing through doing that current sprint. And as I'm working on 2 different projects, a lot of prioritization that goes on sort of the different type of work and what meetings then are with different stakeholders.
Brilliant, thanks guys. That gives a great overview. So this next question, Gary sort of touched upon it in his chat earlier, but who can be a business analyst? I mean, do you look for any particular skills or experiences that people may have? Jodie, what are your thoughts on that?
So for me, it would be someone who has an aspiration to become a critical thinker. And I know that sounds really strange, but I didn't think I was very good at being a critical thinker before this role. So even if you think you're not good at that now, you'll be learning from some of the best questioners. And if you want to become a critical thinker, this role gives you a basis to do just that. Someone who can handle or manage change on a daily basis. I mean, lots of people say that they can handle change, but it is difficult. And the conversations you have each day can cause requirements to change, and you've got to be able to understand the rationale of why they're changing and sometimes challenge that rationale to ensure what's being built will suit not only the business, but the user too. And someone who takes the time to understand, so not just actively listening, not just like nodding your head like I said Churchill the dog yesterday, or capturing notes. It's a lot more than that. It's understanding what someone wants, why they want it, why they feel the way they do about that, and then trying to understand what impact that thing that they want is going to have on the business. Okay. So they would be my main 3 things, really.
Fab, thanks Jodie. What about you, Nikki?
Yeah, so much the same as Jodie. I would say a massive thing is like good communication skills. As I said previously, you're going to be speaking to a lot of people, and I think having the ability to like build a good rapport with people as well. You will be speaking to maybe a lot of new people day to day, but you might be on a project, you might be spending a lot of time with maybe a few people, so you want to build that good relationship with them if you're going to be meeting with them a lot. Definitely understanding other people's perspectives, that's a big thing. Asking lots of questions, getting to the root of the problem, and working collaboratively, can't get my words out, collaboratively really. You're going to be working with groups of people a lot, may not be BAs, but you will be working with BAs as well.
Fabulous, thank you. Now then, so I know professional development is often on the minds of a lot of people. So what does development look like in the BA space in regard to training, qualifications and career progression? Jodie, fancy taking that one?
Yeah. The training is quite intense when you're doing it. The exams are quite full on, and I think Gary mentioned that at the beginning. But you are all in it together, and we've done things like put revision sessions in with one another, and we do practice tests. So it's not like you're completely on your own. We do definitely support each other when we're doing these exams. And the qualification itself is fantastic. It gives you the opportunity to learn specific techniques and tools, and then by doing the development program, you're also able to take what you've learned and put that into practice. And I think many people will agree that is the best way to learn. And in terms of career progression, personally, I moved quite quickly into the next grade at DVLA. So I was a junior business analyst for 6 months before moving into the HEO role. But I'd had some excellent exposure due to the project I was working on, and the experiences really helped me at interview. So there's plenty of opportunity there, not just for gaining knowledge, but experience for the next level too.
Great. And for those listening, Jodie's actually got a really good blog out on DVLA's digital blog space. Is it From PA to BA, I think it's called, isn't it, Jodie?
It is, yes. So I used to be a personal assistant for a HR business partner, and then sidelined into IT. So completely different, but it's been an amazing journey. And yeah, you can read more about that on the blog.
Great, and it just shows how accessible this course is. So thanks for that, Jodie. My next question is for Gary. You're not getting off scot-free, Gary. I'm not just going to drill your business analyst with questions. This one is for you. So DVLA's BA development programme, which is part of our Centre of Digital Excellence initiative that Craig referred to earlier, kicked off back in September 2019. That was the first of its kind for DVLA. And so how has that gone? And have you managed to influence other government departments to do the same?
Well, we think it's gone quite well. The main reason we went for the development programme is that there is an apprenticeship standard for business analysis, but it doesn't exist in Wales. So we looked around, we tried a few options, and we decided that this was probably the best path for us. So we constructed what we saw as being the core backbone of it, put that in, and we've had a great response from colleagues in government in Wales. So we've had quite a few requests from other government departments to see what we're doing and understand how we've approached it, and also to be part of that and for us to potentially deliver this programme on their behalf as well. It's also the fact that as I understand, the apprenticeship doesn't exist in Scotland, and we've had contacts from colleagues in Scottish government as well to understand what our experience has been and how might they also benefit from some things like that. So experience today has been really good, but we're always looking to improve it as well. And this is our second iteration of the programme. So we're looking to see what have we learned through doing it over the last couple of years and how can we improve it so that it remains current and it carries on delivering the value that we think it brings to the agency.
Brilliant. Changing the requirements as and when needed. If anyone can do that, it's a business analyst. So, so my next question, I think I want to ask Geraint and Nikki, because Geraint, you said that you had an operations background, and Nikki, you said you did a fashion degree. So what I'd like to ask you both, what was it like first coming into the job, and how did your background prepare you for starting the scheme?
So for myself, yeah, as I said, as an internal person, I obviously was aware of what the DVLA was, and personally, I kind of had an interest in IT, but I didn't feel I could be a sort of software programmer or a cloud engineer. So I attended a session kind of just like this one, spoke to a current BA about the sort of what a BA does, the program itself, and then what type of qualification you get at the end of it. I also did a lot of Googling because there's a vast amount of information about what a business analyst does on the internet. So for coming into it was a little bit easier for me being internal, but still it's scary going into a different area. And I started with 10 of us. And I think being as a part of a group where we attended a boot camp, and it's quite nice how we've sort of all worked together, support each other through our modules, through our courses and exams. And it's definitely been a bit more of like a family environment, how we've worked as a team. Even though we've all split up onto different projects, we still keep in contact over the last sort of 18 months. So sort of to support each other in everything we've been doing.
That's great. Thanks. Nikki, how about you?
So for me, I actually came in externally. So I have to say, for me, it was a bit daunting because I hadn't even worked in an office environment before. So I think that was a bit scary for me. But everybody was really welcoming. The whole BA community is really supportive. You can ask anybody for help, and they always give the best advice that they can. As well, coming in as the group of 10 as we did, we all meshed together really well. Obviously, with all the courses and exams that we've done, we'd put in revision sessions and things like that. So that's been really good. And like Geraint said, even though we split off into different work streams, we still keep in contact and meet up together. So for me, my background didn't really prepare me as such for this role. I had a change of heart after going to uni and doing fashion. I decided I wanted to do a different career. I came across this job, and if I'm completely honest, I wasn't 100% sure what a business analyst was, but the job description sparked my interest. It sounded like something I would be really interested in. I like learning on the job, and I was really keen to add to my qualifications. So yeah, my background is completely different, but I think maybe the transferable skills that I'd learned maybe in retail and things have helped me.
Yeah, definitely. No one should undervalue or underestimate the value of transferable skills. Absolutely. Thank you both. Dave, I'm going to come back to you now for this question. So what would you say to someone watching this who was considering a career in business analysis?
Okay, well, simple answer, I'd say is do it. You know, I genuinely say I love my job. I know it sounds cheesy, but I do. You know, as everyone has said previously, no 2 days are the same. It's never boring. Yes, it can be difficult and challenging, like any job, but it's never boring. The DVLA, especially at DVLA, which is such a large organization, you know, I don't know if you know, but it's literally thousands of people work at DVLA. And over the years, I'm not saying I've met every single one, but you certainly work with pretty much touch on every single department, depending on the change, because you have to engage and consider all of the people impacted by whatever it is that's being laid out in front of you in terms of a change. And because those changes vary all the time, and the systems or the products that you're working on vary as well, you will meet new people all the time, understand their challenges, understand, you know, what problems they're facing, and as a BA, you know, you've got that ability to make life better for them and for their customers. So it's you know, it's a satisfying job. So if you're, you know, if you're a nosy person like me, who I just want to know what's going on everywhere, then it's the perfect job for me. And if you're inquisitive and you like, you know, investigating problems and issues, again, it's really an interesting role that I think, you know, anybody can turn their hand to it. It's providing you got the right mindset, you know, you will be trained up, and it's, you know, it wouldn't be beyond anybody providing they apply themselves in the right way. So yeah, do it.
Cheers, Dave. Cool. That was a pitch that even Dragon's Den would be proud of. Well done. Thank you. Jodie, I'm going to come back to you for this one. Now, I know business analysts are people who have their finger firmly on the pulse, and I know a lot of you are on LinkedIn because I'm connected to you. Jodie, I follow you. I think you share some great content. So this is why I'm coming to you. Is there anyone on there perhaps that you suggest that people follow or connect with if they'd like to know more about what's happening in the BA space at the moment?
Yeah, 100%. So there's a couple of people that I would recommend. The first one being Adrian Reed. So if you are lucky enough to get onto the program and do the Mastering the Requirements course. This is usually run by Adrian. He taught us that course a little while back. He runs a BA consultancy service called Black Metric, but he writes lots of great articles, including a quarterly BA Digest newsletter. So all of that's free. You can go on there and have a look at all of the stuff that he writes. He's also really approachable. Like, you could literally send him a message on LinkedIn and he'd be more than happy to reply. So that would be the first one. Another person would be Deborah Paul, who wrote one of the business analysis books that you will have when you first join the cohort, which you should know back to front by the time you finish the course. It will literally be your little Bible, your little go-to when you're doing the course. And in addition to that, there has recently been a young BA community set up on LinkedIn, and that is a great source of knowledge for those who are just starting out, but even experienced BAs as well, who are wanting to recap on methods they've not used in a while. So there's a couple of people there that people can have a look at if they're interested.
Great, thanks, Jodie. No, that's brilliant. That's really handy. And finally, I think, because I know we've got quite a few questions from our audience, last question from me would be, Dave, let's come back to you. We started with you, so we'll finish with you. What is the most rewarding part of being a business analyst?
Okay, well, I'll be quick then. So yeah, I kind of touched on it about the satisfaction of the job. I think the most rewarding part of it is being able to make a difference and make a difference to a DVLA can make a difference to millions of people. You know, and that sounds grandiose, but you know, we've got millions of people that use our services on a daily basis, and it's you know, you're able to make their experience and their life, you know, a little bit of their life easier by just making that service, improving it, and helping the service designers and helping other members of the team within DVLA to get the best out of that service. So you're really making a difference and improving things. You know, how many times have you been that customer or the user of a particular service that you're not happy with? Is something you think, why have I got to do this? This doesn't seem very good. And you know, you're able now to be in that position of, you know, putting that forward as a suggestion, saying these are the things we should improve because this is the feedback we're getting from our customers. So you're part of that whole team of making a difference. So that's probably the most rewarding part for me.
Thanks, Dave. And that's a great quote. You can make a difference to millions of people. If that's not a motivator, what is? Honestly, thank you so much to our panel for answering those questions. Really, really appreciate that. So let's move on to the questions from our audience now. So I will publish these, each one as I go along. So the first one is, what grade are the junior roles, please? Who'd like to take this one?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that. So they are executive officer roles within the civil service.
Great, thanks, Gary. Sam Riley is asking, I'd like to ask what support would be given for people who have learning disabilities such as dyslexia.
Okay, so that's a great question. You know, DVLA is an equal opportunities employer. You know, we've got a really diverse workforce. We've got a really diverse capability within business analysis, and we have to consider all through the program. And as part of that, then we'd look to see what support would be needed to make everybody's time with us as successful as possible. So we're happy to consider all applications.
Okay, thanks, Gary. We've had another question from Anonymous. How have you found that your role has changed because of COVID and working from home? Any of our analysts want to answer that?
I can say something quickly. I don't know if you can tell, but well, it's blurred, but I'm actually working in a shed. So yeah, I'm not joking. It's just, it's like a little, well, okay, but it's yeah, it has changed because you know, whereas a lot of the role was face to face with you know, other people within DVLA and having meetings that were face to face. Now it's all remote. But we managed it overnight. You know, we went straight from working from home and managed to carry on as before using technology like this. You know, you don't need to be in the physical same room together. You can still get your point across. You can still get the information you need. It's just, it's I wouldn't say it's more difficult. It's just different.
Great, good answer. Anyone else want to come in on that one? About the
I was just going to say, from the development program side of it, from the course we've been doing, so a lot of the courses started off in September 19 being inside an office, so we'd have 3 days, then we'd do an exam actually in the office itself, and then since being work from home, everything has been online. So we've done online through Teams, through Zoom, some courses, and then we've actually done the exams then from the house as well. So you had the cameras on, microphones on, had to show the examiner around the room to make sure there's no one in there, show them your desk. So it's a learning experience for us and the training companies that we've been working with. So it's learning for them as well, because they've never done it. So it's been a challenge at the start, but I think slowly sort of got used to it, and it's just become the norm in a way now.
Great. Thanks, Geraint.
And I think just to say, Geraint, is it true to say that I know you started off obviously working together in the office as a group, because the cohort that came in were a group of 10, and you kind of got that very much a team built spirit there. But that's still possible through remote as well, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. I think, in a way, from having Teams, it's probably made it a little bit better, because you are, whereas you'd have to bump into people sort of in the office kind of thing and then go and physically meet them, now we're able to sort of keep in contact via Teams, schedule meetings up wherever, so location hasn't been a problem, and yeah, it has made it probably a little bit easier.
Great, thank you both, really appreciate that. We've got a question through from Nathan, who's asking, which business intelligence tools or systems have you worked with or are currently working with?
Okay, I'll take that one. So we've got a product area that is snazily called Management Information Business Intelligence. That they are primarily using Power BI. So we've got 2 business analysts working in support that product area. They're not working directly with the Power BI, but they're working in terms of that, how do we progress our MI/BI capability.
Okay, thanks, Gary. This next question, I think it's probably similar to the other one which Gary answered. So it was, what will the equivalent grade or salary be? So Gary told us earlier that it would be you could be going in at EO grade. Is that right, Gary?
Executive officer, and if anybody's interested in seeing the exact salary, it's in the advert on Civil Service Job. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say it's £26,126, because somebody just handily put it in a chat for me, so thank you, Kerry.
Brilliant, well done, on the ball. What a great team. There we go, not a bad salary to start with, thank you. So I've got a question here from David. I have a background in IT infrastructure with foundation in Unix and storage, and I'm studying an MSc Data Science. How do I fit into DVLA? Great question.
That's a really interesting background. I just alluded to our MI/BI product area. We're starting to look at data science more in depth as well. So I think that'd be a really interesting set of skills for David to come along with and have conversations with us about.
Absolutely. Can I just say I love the confidence of this next person. This next person is asking, what software tools are we going to be working with? Great confidence. Thanks for that question. Who wants to take that?
I'm happy to take that. So we use tools such as Jira and Confluence. We use Microsoft Teams as well for remote meetings, sharing whiteboard space, just any collaboration tools really that we can use, just to make sure that we can all get the work done and deal with our stakeholders the best way we can, like we would have when we were back in the office.
And I think as well, the we pretty much got all the tools we need at our fingertips, haven't we, depending on what's needed. I mean, today I've been hammering out some horrible data analysis things through Excel, just using your bog standard Excel. But there's a lot, I think, is the answer, isn't it? Depending on what you need to do, there's a lot of options. So
lovely. Thanks, Naomi. Thanks, Dave. This next one is from Anonymous. I will be finishing MSc Computer Science in September. Can we apply for a position as Junior Business Analyst? How can we apply?
Civil Service Jobs. all the information is there. Follow the links. I'm sure we can post the link to the civil service jobs in this chat. Read the information and just follow the links from there. But yeah, absolutely be great to hear from you as an applicant.
Definitely. Thanks, Gary. This next one, being a current HEO in a business support role in DVLA, what routes are there into the BA world at this grade, please? It's a very good question.
It's a great question. So, I talked about points of entry into the capability earlier. So the way that it's currently structured is that we would see the junior business analyst as being the normal point of entry, although we do have as a direct entrant sometimes at higher grades where they've had experience outside of the agency. So at the moment, it's this point of entry, which would mean that it would be anybody from a civil service grade, AA, AO, or up to EO. But I'm working on another aspect that might be of interest in that, so probably watch this space, and if anybody's got any direct queries that they want to approach me with, and that, happy to have a conversation in terms of some of the things we're looking at.
Great, thanks, Gary. And on that, I'm just going to quickly skip ahead to Alex's question, as it's slightly related. Having previously worked within the civil service at HEO level, would having worked at a higher grade be a disadvantage when applying for this EO level opportunity?
No, I'm assuming there that they're no longer at that higher grade, in which case previous explanation applies in terms of eligibility within civil service grades. But no, that wouldn't be a blocker if they previously worked at a higher grade and they were no longer at that.
Great, thank you. Now, Rian is asking, is there an age limit?
Hopefully people can see from the videos we've got, we're quite a diverse age group. I am probably more senior than most, so absolutely no age limit, no.
Wonderful, thanks, Gary. So the next one, I think it might have been answered earlier, I'm not sure. Nathan's asking, which business intelligence tools or systems have you worked with or are you currently working with?
Yeah, I think I covered that in terms of the Power BI. Yeah.
I thought you did. That's okay, just double checking. Kieran, I'm interested in marketing and I'm currently studying a BA in business management and marketing, and I'm looking for a career in marketing/digital marketing. So what opportunities can DVLA offer me?
I'm going to suggest potentially that's one for Craig, because it's probably outside of the sort of normal BA.
Think so.
Yeah, check it over to me. I'll pick that up.
Go for it, Craig.
No worries. So I think the best way to answer that, I think there was a question earlier on as well that was talking around sort of different skills and different backgrounds and kind of different interests. So we're talking here about the business analysis program, but when you go through to the link that we'll provide, it takes you through the civil service jobs. So what you can actually do is register for a number of jobs within IT and a number of jobs outside IT. So you'll be able to look across not just DVLA, but across all civil service organisations. You'll be able to set up a number of alerts. And what you'll find is, DVLA will recruit in a number of different areas, and you'll see a number of different roles coming out. So I was searching for the salary earlier. I think we sort of had 7 different roles. Currently, they're across a number of different grades. They're across a number of different areas. So if you're somebody who's interested in marketing, DVLA has a number of different departments. We have a central comms team, internal, external comms. We run an entire in-house IT department. So generally we cover most professions, commercial, HR, finance. So anybody who's interested in something outside of the IT field still goes through civil service jobs and use that as the central point for finding, what you might want your career to be.
Fabulous, thank you, Craig. Nicole is asking, if applying as an internal candidate once the 2-year fixed term finishes, will this affect my permanent contract? Answer this, Gary.
Okay, so yeah, we got a couple of people who were existing DVLA employees who are on the scheme currently. So all the implications and all the practicalities of that are covered in the advert. If you want to have a more detailed conversation, please approach us and we can explain what that looks like. DVLA is investing a lot of money in people, and this is about to build internal capability. So absolutely, we're looking to make the best use of those resources then and to see how they'd fit into our ITS organisation post that. But all the details in terms of external and internal candidates are covered within the content of the advert.
Brilliant, thank you. We had a question, how many people are you recruiting for the position?
Well, we recruited for 6 positions, which is slightly different to how many people are recruited, but yeah, 6 positions are available.
Yes, brilliant, okay. Alex has answered no longer in the civil service. I think what that was relating to a question that Alex asked earlier, so that's no problem. And the final question we have is, what are the shift hours / days?
Okay, so we don't work shifts. We work in what we'd say is normal business hours that can vary throughout the week. So there's an expectation that's normally Monday to Friday. That can flex throughout the week, and it can also vary in terms of the product area that you're supporting and the part of the business you're supporting. So there's no shift working, but if you were to look at a normal sort of 7.5 hour to 8 hour day, that's what your day would normally look like across a Monday to Friday pattern.
Great, thank you, Gary. I'm currently, I think I've done it. I'm putting the link into the chat right now, which will link you directly to the civil service jobs site where the scheme is live. So make sure you have a really good read of that application. It opened on Monday, and I know that it closes on the 7th of June. So if you are interested, or you know anyone who might be, act fast. So well, I think we're pretty much done for today. I think that's all the questions we've answered. So I'd like to thank you all for attending today, and I hope you take from it what you needed to. Thanks again to Craig, Gary, and our team of business analysts. So everyone, thanks again for coming. Have a great evening. Take care.